I am recording. All right, gentlemen, first introductions. Nate, let me get you again.
Yeah, hey, Nate Petoniak from Conserve Through Control. We did the temperature control systems for the buildings.
Perfect.
John Kulik, Belanger Plumbing and Heating. We installed the systems here in the buildings, including the heat and the hot water.
Thank you, John.
My name is Joe Toner with Fluid Industrial Associates, and we are the New England sales reps for the Lock-and-Bar boilers here.
Wonderful. Let's start with an overview of the systems that we have here.
Okay.
Walk around, and gentlemen, whichever one of you wants to take.
I'm going to shoot up first. This is the outdoor sensor. This is a spare. This will be left in the cabinet here along with the pump controller. This is the item that is mounted on the outside of the building that senses the temperature and arms the system. As the temperature changes outside, it also curves back or raises the temperature of the loop water for efficiency. We're trying to match what the building's losing, only to provide that economy. Okay, so first thing that happens is the outdoor temperature falls. It activates the system to come on, turns on the main circulator pumps we see here. There's redundant operation here as a backup.
These are the main heat loop circulator pumps.
Yep, variable speed. Those are magnetic drive pumps. Those are controlled by the Tecmar pump controller mounted in the panel.
Which is the little blue box, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And that blue box will flash codes to tell you if there's a problem with one of the pumps or both pumps. That's one of the items that should be looked at weekly by maintenance. Open the panel, make sure nothing's flashing so that they can call and have service performed before a major emergency. Okay? These are the heating and hot water boilers. Okay? These have screens on them. The screen, if it is illuminated in a red fashion, normally it's blue. Okay? If that screen were to turn red, you have a problem with the boiler and it needs to be addressed. There is a reset button here on the boiler. It should be tried by maintenance to reset. After 3 failed attempts of resetting, they should call Belanger's Plumbing. There's a redundant boiler also that shares the wealth. It's a cascade system, meaning that there's a lead boiler and a lag boiler. If either of the boilers would shut down, the other does take over. Okay? And that is a function that's built into the system as a fail-safe.
So the system can be satisfied with just one boiler running?
Correct.
Wow. So it's 100% redundancy?
Yes.
Okay. And these are condenser boilers, which we'll get into in a minute.
Yep,
but
they do make condensate. That is the drain system here. This is the neutralizing box. What happens here is the water that comes out of the boiler during combustion is acidic. It then gets neutralized through these marble chips. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That then does gravities through. It fills up from the bottom so that it has very much time as possible to be in contact with the neutralizing stones. It then relieves itself out as an overflow and down through the drain, and that is treated water now. That protects the drain system.
Okay. So this neutralizing...
That will be serviced yearly.
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 Good.
Correct.
Good.
Inside of the boilers also, okay, we have a spark electrode and we have a flame sensor. These here also should be checked and changed annually to keep the integrity of the system.
And that's by service tech people, though.
Correct.
This isn't normal people.
That
doing
is not normal people.
Okay.
That is, they should definitely have us come back on an annual basis and service the boilers. These boilers need to be cleaned. The whole, again, we'll take the front cover off. Take the top cover off. You can get a good overview of what the boiler actually looks like inside. This is a draft motor. This draws fresh air in from the outdoors, comes through. Tied in with that is the gas line. This mixes the gas-air mixture to be delivered down a delivery tube in through a burner and ignited by this device here, again, the electrode. Proved to be running by this device, the flame sensor. All goes back and ties in to the main control circuitry here. This is the brain of the operation. Okay, everything leads back into this, proving that it's all working. Okay, this is the lag boiler in the cascade system, so it's boiler number 2. That's the lead. We can tell the only thing connected here on a wiring is the low water cutoff control, flow switch on the side, proving that if the pump fails, it will shut the boiler off. And this is the communication link between the 2 boilers. This is the lag boiler. That's the lead boiler. That one there takes all the inputs from everywhere, outdoor temperature, loop temperatures and all, and then tells this one whether to run or not. If lead boiler fails for any reason, we'll automatically fail-safe switch to the second boiler to take over its duties. Okay?
Nice.
So, but again, back to the cleaning. This whole burner comes out. There is a stainless steel heat exchanger in there, cylindrical shape. We go in with a soft bristle brush and water, no chemical, and we clean the whole inside of that out because we need to keep the flue passages where the exhaust goes through open and clean. If those become clogged, if the heat does not go into the water because it's insulated, it overheats the flue pipe leading out the back and will cause the boiler to A, run inefficiently, and 2, it'll burn out the components faster. So service on the burner is critical to keep it running efficiently.
Excellent. All right, let's continue on. Do you want to put that back together
I
again?
will. Very simply. Don't.
Okay,
Joe's gonna, you gonna say something?
all right.
Well, when it's my turn, I'm gonna.
Yeah, let's
All
finish
right.
with overview of what we have going
Yeah.
on here.
And as the system runs, we have water exiting the boiler, water being drawn back in through the pumps, okay? It goes out into the main loop, goes through an air separator. So if there are any air bubbles in here, this is what removes them. There's a micro screen inside, all the little bubbles collect on it. Once they form into a bigger bubble, they raise to the top, and there's actually an exhaust port on top for the air to come out. Strainers, these protect any larger debris, say something was to scale inside a pipe, a chip, a piece of solder, anything. It gets caught in the screen before it can go through the drive of the pumps. Okay.
All right, continuing on.
Continuing on, the water flows out, goes to one half of the building in this direction, goes to the other half of the building in that direction, up into the apartments through T's that have zone controls on them with the thermostats in the apartments. Thermostat says I'm cool, opens the prospective zone valve. The flow will go through that area until the thermostat reaches its desired temperature. At that point, closes the valve, and the water recirculates just through the main piping, eliminating that. When there's a call for hot water, people are drawing, the tank gets cooled down in temperature. We have the temperature setting on the tank here with this thermostat. Okay, the temperature of the tank is elevated. It's higher than what's going to be coming out of the faucet. Why? Capacity control. We want to have more stored water than we need so that we can take and mix that higher temperature water with cold water to give you a blend or a mixed temperature through the hot water mixing valve. And this is for the domestic water at the tubs, showers, and sinks.
Got it.
These pumps here are what brings the water around the building so that it's almost instantaneous use of hot water out the faucet so it won't run down the drain. What happens is at the very end of the last fixtures on each end of the building, there's T's put in, piping T's that are brought back to this recirculation line. This pulls the water around the building back through and remixes it so you stay with a mixed loop temperature even on the non-draw time. When the people draw by opening their faucets, it gets a pressure drop. That's what activates the springs inside here to allow the water to flow through the mixing valve. And there we have it. okay? Temperatures are adjusted through this stem here and monitored out, okay? This is the loop temperature right now. We have 124 degrees. And that's the gauge that is to be looked at for the hot water coming out of the piping into the apartments.
Okay. There's a gauge on top of the
That's the
tank?
tank temperature and the water pressure.
Okay, so that's nothing that anyone,
Only thing is, like I said, the tank stays elevated, so that should be roughly between 140 and 150 at all times. There is a 10-degree differential on the tank. You're going to be up or down 5 degrees on the swing. So if it's set
Okay.
for 150, to go to 145,
got it.
up to 155, okay?
And these tanks are
Domestic.
heated
Yep.
by the boilers.
Correct.
So the boilers are also doing,
The domestic hot
Domestic.
water production, correct. And that's what these other pumps are for. Here, this other pump, these were the system pumps for the heating.
for the heating system, yeah?
This is the water, or the pump to make the domestic hot water. So again, comes right off of the boiler, directly out through the tanks. The first tank is what they call a buffer tank. It actually doesn't hold any, doesn't have any water coming out of it to go to the mixing valve. It's preheated, so when they do start flowing, the water comes out of that one into the next one for efficiency purposes.
Interesting.
Also helps the boiler continue to make condensation, because the boiler likes to have cold water coming back to it. It's most efficient when it has cooler water coming back. Correct.
Okay, okay. So let's talk about these tanks over here. What are we looking at here?
We're looking at here is a thermal expansion tank that when water heats up, it expands in volume. There's a bladder style tank here, air on one side of the bladder, water from the system on the other side. As it heats up, it expands. The bladdered air acts as a cushion, allowing the system not to overpressurize.
Okay, and that's for the heating system side?
Correct.
Got it.
Yep.
Because obviously the domestic water just spills out into the,
Correct.
each plumbing fixture.
Correct. There's nothing else here. They do not have a domestic expansion tank here because they're not worried about the water. The water's not coming in at high enough pressure for it to elevate it.
Okay. And then how about this little blue guy over here?
That
What's
little
this?
blue guy, that's a chemical tank. That's to condition the water. It's not in play right now because they're not seeing any problems with the characteristics of the water. If the water becomes corrosive, we have a spot here to put chemical treatment in to protect the entire system.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And this is for the heating system side again?
All the water that's used through the boilers to either make domestic hot water or to produce heating. Correct.
Got it.
Yep.
Good, good. Okay, nice.
Again, spring comes, it warms up outside. This device shuts down the pumps and tells the boilers, no matter who says what, don't produce any heat. You're only armed now to make hot water.
Wow, so those outside sensors are critical.
Absolutely, absolutely. If it gets to a point also where, let's say we have our shoulder months.
In
Very
between
nuisance
time.
Correct. What happens is this, is you could get heat coming on at night, even on a day that gets up to be 70. There are options that we could do. If that becomes a problem, we can put a summer-winter switch on that is operated by the owner of the project. That what his maintenance men can do is determine, well, it's April 15th. We don't have to provide any heat by code. Off goes the switch. It would be in series with the call for heating on this boiler, and we would basically manually lock out it from ever being able to come on even on a cold evening. So, again,
Good to
we
know.
wouldn't have to try and fight the fact of it's cool at night and temperature's average and you're still warm anyway inside. We wouldn't want the boiler to come on, fire up, heat the whole loop up when no one's using it. Okay, so again, there could be a summer-winter switch added to say, these are our times, or even, how could I say, a calendar month where here we are in September, here we are in April, you're
Yeah,
getting heat or
yeah.
you're not getting heat.
Got it,
So,
got it.
non-weather dependent.
Perfect.
Okay? All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Okay, we're just gonna, oh, I guess I'm still recording, that's okay. So we'll, let's kind of scoot into your segment and let us know what you can tell us about these wonderful condenser boilers.
Well, my buddy, Mr. Kulik, kind of stole my thunder, which he usually does, and that's fine with me. The one thing I would want to, that's important that I want to touch on is annual service. So in the service manual is a list of things to check. Probably the most critical, I think John already covered, was to get into the heat exchanger, clean it out, and blow out the burner tube. That's supposed to be done annually. So if it never gets done and there's a failure with the heat exchanger, Lochinvar tests their heat exchangers, and if we can't provide evidence that they've been serviced annually, then they're not going to honor the warranty. So that's kind of important. The other thing to note is there's a condensate trap right here. Very easy to disassemble and just inspect to see if any sludge or buildup has accumulated in it. There is a safety device on top that if this gets blocked, it trips a safety, and you'll get a message here that says condensate trap fault. So it's important to inspect that. It's also important to take a visual of this condensate neutralization kit. It's basically just limestone, which neutralizes the acidity of condensate, and over time those limestones will get eroded.
Oh, okay, so it's sacrificial.
It is sacrificial.
It
yes.
uses up.
Yes, and the reason for it is in New England we have an older infrastructure system in terms of the pipes in the street, and they're cast iron, so if we're getting acidic water out there, we could harm
It'll come
those
through
pipes.
here, sure.
So that's kind of important as well. So it's just a visual inspection, and I think most hardware stores you can buy limestone, and it's just topping it off. So, and then other than that, you just want to inspect visually the wiring, the components, make sure nothing's loose, and really that's about it.
Okay.
There is a trip set on these for after so many months of use, or so many cycles, or so many hours, this screen will intermittently flash yellow and say service due or service reminder. That does not affect the operation of the boilers. It's just saying, hey, come check me out and clean me.
Okay. So what things could go wrong that Peter would see? I mean, it'd be like a no heat call, and then you'd come down here to try to figure out why you're not getting heat.
It would be more of a, down in the mechanical room would be, if you had a major problem, you would have multiple no heat calls upstairs, okay, in the apartments. If you get one or two, it may be a zone problem, could be a thermostat issue. One things we do notice when people are moving into new housing developments, they put their television set and their stereos and any other heat-making device like the TV set right underneath the thermostat. The longer they sit on the couch and watch TV, the colder the house is going to get, because those appliances put off heat. Thermostat senses that heat and shuts it off, saying, I'm warm.
Got
And
it.
so the surrounding rooms from the thermostat will definitely be cooler because those appliances are giving it a false reading.
Okay.
So one thing to look for, Peter, is that. Okay.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
I've worked with
Yeah,
them.
yeah, exactly.
I'll just add to that real quick.
Good.
It's important that somebody does a visual here once a week, once a month,
Yep.
because I'm not sure, you know, John used the term earlier of 100% redundancy. I'm not, that may be true, and if it is, it becomes even more important to get a visual in here, because and we've had this happen before in mechanical rooms that don't get checked with multiple boilers that can communicate with one another. You could have a problem with one boiler.
And it would be off.
Nobody knows, because
Right.
nobody's checking it,
Right,
because
right.
if it's truly 100% redundancy, that one boiler that's still running could
It's all
carry the
doing
load
great.
on
Yeah.
the coldest day of the year.
And it
So-
does the same as the pump controller here. You know, you need to visually look at this once a week, because you could have an issue with one of the pumps, you don't know it because you're not looking at a flashing code light. Okay? And then you come down and find it, uh-oh, both of them are no good now.
And just so you know, and I apologize if this is repetitive.
No,
but
no,
you should
no.
know this. This box does two things. Number one, it will engage a second pump if the pump it's running is not running. So they call that rotation, staging. The other thing it does is, and this has been dialed in for 168 hours of runtime, so after 168 hours of pump 2 running, it goes back to pump 1. And the idea there being equal runtime overtime. So it's kind of a safety device, and again, this gets back to the physical inspection, because if you got a pump fail and it turns on the second pump and it runs, nobody knows about it unless you come down and see that you got some flashing lights and you got an issue going on, so.
So back to the duty cycle you're saying, where should I come down once a month and change it? Pardon me, those circulator pumps are already doing that through this control.
Yes.
Okay. The only ones that don't do that are the recirc pumps on the wall there for the domestic hot water.
Right.
Okay.
And those are the ones that you were manually changing when we were walking
Yep.
around the other time.
And we will do that once a month.
Yep.
We manually change those once a month and do a weekly inspection of this and the boiler.
Correct.
That will be our weekly.
Yep. Yep, absolutely.
And as you said earlier about the maintenance, we have a requirement that all boilers be maintained once a year. We'll go under a contract, but it's ours, and we will. That is an absolute thing. TCB requires every one of them to be done.
And Nate, you've been wonderfully quiet. What,
Being patient.
what do you bring to this?
We can start the tech.
Other than the good looks.
Yeah, right. Well, and the youth,
Bring
right?
the youth to the
And the
project.
youth, yeah.
So going off what Joe and what John mentioned, this TechMesh system, it's in place to control the system pumps. We did our lead lag, right now it's set for 168 hours. The only thing I think we didn't touch on so far was the warm weather shutdown. Right now it's set for 70. Every time it's 71 or above outside, both pumps are down. When that does happen, you'll see your warm weather shutdown.
Eliminated.
And then on the other side, say it's chilly outside, you'll see your pump demand illuminated. And that's just kind of a quick reference to say, building wants heat. So if you see your pump demand on, and your proof of flow is not, it's a good indicator of pump failure. But like John and Joe said, at that point, you'd rather pump it kicked on, so you come in and look for an alarm light.
Yeah, because it'll still be on.
Can you change the temperature at which these pumps turn off?
Yes.
Yes, but I saw Joe shaking.
Yeah,
his head.
yeah.
There is a warm weather shutdown on the boilers as well.
There's both.
If you change it here, you're gonna want to make sure you change it there, just so you won't have a situation where your pumps are off, but your boilers are running.
Oh.
Cause a couple headaches.
And on that note, I'm going to suggest that we jack that up to like 72.
Yeah, you want
Because
that
there's a
high-
variance in temperature sensors, and I don't want the boiler firing when the pumps aren't running.
Right, because that'll give you
So-
one of your lockouts.
So the boilers have their own outdoor sensor. It doesn't know what this box is reading on its outdoor sensor. So
This is
that's,
an accessory that the engineer wanted. It's not a boiler accessory, it's an accessory
For the
for
pumps.
the pumps.
Okay. And Nate, while we're in this box, let's just say what those four little transformery looking things are doing over there.
Just gonna get into it. So
right.
this is our power rails for all of the baseboards throughout your entire building here. You'll have a similar setup in each building. If you get a grouping of cold calls, maybe 4 rooms are cold, but the rest are fine, then come down and check your transformers. You can check if it's tripped. These little black dials will pop out. When you reset, you'll hear it click. If it continues to happen, it either means there's a short somewhere in the system, maybe a wire got cut somehow, or transformer got old, you just need to change it out.
But just for the people who are not so into this like you guys are, when you say these transformers are for the baseboards, you're really saying these transformers are providing power for the zone valve
Correct.
in the baseboards.
And
So it's the zone valve that's opening and closing by direction of the thermostat in the space. And these transformers give those zone valves the power to do that.
Correct, and another good indicator, say, for a transformer has tripped, if you go up into the space and the thermostat itself is dark,
Right, no power
no
to it.
power to it, that's a good indicator you have a transformer problem.
because they're not battery operated, they're power steering.
They are. They're actually pretty neat.
Yep, so you'll know if the thermostat is blank, look for a power problem.
And good peace of mind, all of the zone valves we have in your building, they all fail open. So if you lose power, middle of winter, you're only gonna make them more toasty,
Okay, so they're power.
assuming these are still running.
Are they automatics?
Lyman's.
That's
And-
cool.
and the
That's a
zone-
good feature. Not, most zone valves do not do that. That's a great feature.
And the zone valves are in the units.
Yeah,
with the-
there's
With
one
the
in here we can look at.
exception
Of the
of the
additions.
additions, which is the kitchens and bathrooms. They are in the basement in the additional crawl spaces.
Which actually, that's right, we could open up this, actually, and of course, we don't have lights in here, so I won't be able to show you. But in here are the zone valves for the modular additions.
So
Okay.
I just want to make sure we all do
Yeah,
that part.
yep.
So that covers pump control, room baseboards. The only other two things to mention, three things actually. We do have a pressure differential switch located in the system. It's hidden away in the crawl space. It's just a small white box. That just senses differential and pressure across your system from your supply to your return. Reports back to your pumps. That's what makes them modulate in speed. If you ever see your pumps going full speed all the time, it'd be worth checking those. They have small 1/4 inch copper tubing to them. Just get a small pair of channel locks, crack it a little bit, see if you get any air out. If they get air bound, it's possible it could trick the system. You just wouldn't get the efficiency out of your pumps for having to slow down.
Because the air is condensable and the water's not, so if you get a change, because there's air in there, it'll tell the speed wrong. Change it.
In all your mech rooms, you have exhaust fans, wall mount. Each has their own thermostat.
When do those come on?
Whenever it's warm in here. The reverse vacuum thermostat right now is set to 70. Anytime we're above 70 in here, it'll come on. We turn it down. Now, anytime it's above 55 in here.
I did turn the switch off,
We know,
okay.
we caught you.
Okay, just because it was loud and I couldn't hear anything, but, yeah, so someone must have turned it back on.
Me.
Nice.
Okay.
And last piece of equipment down here is your unit heater that has its own thermostat as well. Whenever this calls for heat, you have a zone type valve here. This is the same model you have in all of your apartments.
Oh,
The way it operates on a call for heat, your valve is going to open once your aquastat sees that coil's hot, it's set for 110 right now. Then it turns your fan on. It's just a way to prevent the unit from blowing cold air.
so this is the same Belimo actuator that's in each apartment?
Correct.
So in
And these are,
emergency, we can steal the head off.
that's right. These are actually really good.
Way
for
step
service.
ahead of you.
I can't believe this guy, he's right there, he's
That's
right
right.
there. Yeah.
And
Now,
these were built with service in mind. If you ever have to service them, just grab the head itself and give it a good pull.
yeah, that's what I wanted to, did you?
I already did it.
Oh, okay, because I saw Joe did it, Joey went in there, so that just pulls off?
Yeah.
And it's not gonna like leak and everything when you do that, it's just gonna, okay.
And once you get your new one, you pop it on, reattach your wires, and walk away.
Huh. So, having a few extra of those wouldn't be a bad thing.
No, it would not.
That would not be bad.
Just to bring up point two, there's a valve chart here on the wall.
Oh, let's come along and see that. Here we go. Oh,
So that will allow you to isolate any problems, like when you want to change a pump or isolate some loop.
okay, gotcha. So you've got valve labels?
Yep, there's-
around here somewhere? Oh, here they are, okay. Got it, so this happens to be 008,
Yep.
and if we come, oh, man, 008. And 008 is right here,
Mechanical room, unit heater supply. valve.
unit heater supply.
Yep, this is
Got
unit
it.
heater. Yep.
Good, good.
Absolutely. And now you can actually, you probably won't be able to get it with your camera, but if you look in that hole right there, that's your burner and your flame.
I can actually see.
You can actually see right in
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
If you can zoom in, you can see it, you can look up towards the edges and such, and you can actually see the cylindrical exchanger inside.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to get in there. You see it. All right.
On the front screen, it also tells you at what percentage the boiler's firing at. Right now, it just got a call to come on. It's firing at 100%. Now the call is stopped, which is probably a hot water call. And now it's in post-purge, and what that means is it's expelling any of the gases out of it that were inside, being combustion or natural gas and air mixture, and it will vent it outside, and the boiler has stopped. After a few minutes, the pump will stop, because what that's doing is equalizing the temperature of the boiler and the loop, so that you're not just stopping a very hot boiler in its tracks.
Gotcha.
Now there's the pump shut off at a time delay, so we've equalized our temperatures.
Cool. All right, anything else?
I think we're good. Johnny, where's the vent and where's the air intakes outside the building?
Good question.
That is a good question.
They are right here. Air intake are right next to the fan. So we see that on the louver as we're coming up the basement steps.
I think those go directly through the roof.
And these, they should be the darker ones.
Yeah, and then all the way up through the roof.
Yep. And they're labeled
Exhaust.
exhaust. And they go in and up. Yep.
So just do a visual on the air intakes, to make sure a plastic bag hasn't gotten sucked on the outside, or, any ice buildup. Ice tends to grow. Probably won't happen where this is located, but again, just to prevent a nuisance lockout.
Yeah, we've gone to calls where there's been a plastic bag sucked into the pipe and other things. Kids love to stick soda bottles to, it's almost like the old vacuum tube delivery system. So they love to watch the bottle get sucked into the pipes, so.
Yeah.
Johnny, tell our listeners what you found at the
No, I'm
laundromat.
good.
All right.
Yeah, you may find a container of marijuana in the boiler too, after it gets sucked through the pipes.
Honest
Yeah,
God.
it was a little plastic container, like a duck sauce container, and somebody must have put it on the outside, and whatever they were doing, it gets sucked right in. And what it did is it came all the way down the intake pipe, and it was a smaller size boiler, so there's an air orifice in there. It's a certain size.
It blocked it.
It blocked right in there. The maintenance guy called me, he says, I've reset the boiler 3 times and it won't come on. And I said, okay, he says it's getting an air proving problem. I said, fine. I went out and I went, yeah, sure is. I took the coupler off here because it's very easy, if you wanted to film this, to check if anything's getting into there. This is a rubber coupler, okay?
Little Fernco adapter, it looks
Correct.
like.
This will come off, you can slide it, and you can visually look in, and stuck right inside of there was the container. I said, what is that? I took it out, I opened the, we had a good chuckle, but the maintenance guy made me give it to him.
That's
Yeah.
great,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, but just things like that, birds,
Yep.
bags,
Yep.
Anything like that. Here's the best one. Guys are outside working on something. Sawdust, anything like that. You just don't want to be doing work near the intakes on them, okay?
Got it.
Snow blowing. Do not snow blow into that vent.
Yeah, it's down low. I don't think you'll get there,
Okay,
but yeah,
I've
I know,
seen
it's
that
good to
where
know.
We've gone on a service call, and again, the intakes are put into a box that's mounted there, okay, to make an air intake plenum, and it's completely iced over from the chute from the snow blower, just completely packing it full, and so they pay a lot of money to have us go de-ice the vent, so.
Got
Just
it.
things to look for, yeah.
Good. All right. Peter, anything else you can think of?
Lunchtime.
Good man.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You're more than welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Nate.